Good morning. It is good to be here this morning. Good to see each one of you. If you were there last night, what a joy. What an awesome opportunity to be able to impact the lives of citizens in Lawrence County. Elijah didn't know that many people lived in Lawrence County. He was kind of amazed at all the people down through there. We even had some come out on the road and join us and start walking with us for a little while, didn't we? Talking to us there. And so it does touch people and impact lives. And if you were a part of that, thank you so much for being there. Well, I will be. Look who's walking in the door. That worked. That worked. You people are some of the easiest distracted people I know. I've had a talk with every baby in the room this morning. Just wait, parents, when they cut loose here in a minute, we've had our talk, all right? Our topic this morning is suffering that is caused by distractions. We're good at it. You just illustrated it. It doesn't take much. Every last one of us. I've got a distraction. I have it every Sunday. It's this little thing. On the other side of it is a timer, in case you're wondering. But a lot of times while I'm preaching, really? Did y'all see who they picked as number 4 in the college? Oh, it ain't 11 o'clock yet, is it? That'll be in a minute. That update will come on here. Did you know that Tiger Woods was playing on Sunday for the first time in 303 days in a competitive golf tournament? It's done been on here. Some of you, if Tennessee hired a coach today, it'd be on there. Hobby Lobby puts a sale on. It'll be on there. And did you know that you can talk on this thing and text on this thing and check your email all at the same time? Conversations at our house go something like this. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yes, I'm listening. Uh-huh. 2 days later, the car breaks down. I told you 2 days ago it was rattling. Oh, you did? Yeah. When did you tell me that? When you were staring at your phone? Oh, well, I was really listening. Women, if you want to get them, just in the middle of the conversation say something like, the house is on fire. See how distracted we really can become. Wake up in the morning to the first thing, man, I can't wait to start my morning. It's not Folgers in your cup. It's Facebook in your phone. Just scrolling down through there, seeing who stayed up too late, who didn't have nothing better to do, who couldn't sleep, who's doing what, who's going to a new job, who's got this, who's got that. Some things I wished I didn't see, and then just on and on. Folks, distractions. We've got some new laws in our country today. Maybe you know about them. Maybe you don't. If you don't, you need to know about them. There are new laws against distracted driving. Folks, I was a distracted driver before I ever owned a cell phone. I didn't need a cell phone to distract me. There was cows and trees and houses and construction sites all over the road before cell phones were ever created. I didn't need a cell phone to distract me from driving. It amazes me, though, now that we have a special set of laws for something that has been around forever. Distracted. We're distracted people. It's so easy. Distractions are so subtle. They're so sly. They're so lethal to derail us. We got marriages falling apart because they're distracted. We got people losing jobs because they're distracted. We've got people becoming unfaithful to the Lord because they're distracted. We've got people using their vehicles to commit vehicular homicide because they're distracted. How far down the list do you want to go? And yet, just a few weeks ago, we were in Bible class discussing some of the tools and devices that Satan has. And a lady come up to me after class, and she said, I've heard this all my life. Satan don't have to get you bad. He's just got to get you busy. That's all he's got to do. He don't have to make you bad. He don't have to cause you to give in to some awful, sinful, unrighteous livelihood. All he's got to do is get us busy to the point that we don't have time for our Christian lives, for our marriages, for our relationships, for our jobs, for driving, for investing the effort and energy into the things that really matter in life. It's just distraction. You just get busy and you forget what you need to be doing. I'm in Nehemiah chapter 6. Would you join me in Nehemiah chapter 6 as we think about the destructiveness of distractions? One of Satan's greatest tools in life to derail us from our spiritual walk with God. In Nehemiah chapter 6, Nehemiah has come back and in the process of rebuilding the wall there. Nehemiah has been successful in getting permission from the king to go back out of captivity. Nehemiah has been successful in organizing a team of builders and stone hewers and so forth and so on. Those to gather the materials, those to transport the materials, those to put the materials back together so that the wall can be built. And we're to the point now where all that's left are the gates. The wall is essentially done, and the gates of the wall are still to be installed. Nehemiah chapter 6. I had the wrong urban boy this morning, or I would have had this as the Bible reading. Verse 1, Now when Sanballat and Tobiah and Geshem the Arab and the rest of our enemies heard that I had built the wall and there was no breach, although we had not set up the gates and the doors at this point. Here's what happened. Sanballat and Geshem sent to me saying, Come and let us meet together at, let's just call it Lawrenceburg, in the plain of Onan. They send messengers, these two guys do, down to Nehemiah. And they say, hey, bud, we want to meet you out on the plains. Won't you come down? We got something we want to talk to you about. But according to the end of verse 2, but they intended to do me harm. Now, I don't know exactly what kind of harm Nehemiah knew about or had been warned about or had been divinely instructed about or had gotten some information from some inside intelligence. I don't know what the harm was, but he knew what their intentions were, and he knew their intentions were not righteous, godly, wholesome, pure. Hey, bud, just come on down and meet with us here in the plains of Onan, and let's talk about this thing. Nehemiah's response, verse 3. He tells his messengers, you go let them know that I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. Why should the work stop while I leave it and come talk to you? Can I tell you this morning that anytime you become distracted, everything productive goes out the window. There is no way to be productive and be distracted at the same time. You can boast, you can brag, you can put it on a resume, you can embellish the fact that you can do 3 or 4 things at one time, but you cannot productively Oh, you may be able to carry on a phone conversation and carry on a text message conversation and talk to somebody sitting in your office all at the same time. That might be humanly possible, but here's what I know. None of it's productive. It just can't happen. And Satan knows it better than you and I know it. And so thus, to eliminate productivity, what I need to do is distract. I'll do it with the television. You don't have a smartphone? That's okay. You got a television? I'll do it with the television. Oh, you don't have anything but an antenna at your house, so you only pick up 3 channels on a good day when it's not cloudy? Okay, you got a computer? I'll do it with a computer. Oh, you don't have a computer in your house? Any magazines laying around? Any newspapers laying around? I'll do it with those. I don't care. Satan says it doesn't matter to me what avenue I have to use. I'll just get you busy and distracted so that you will not be productive. You know when I get the most things done around my house during the week? Might surprise you a little bit. I do a few things around the house, okay? Just a few. You know when I get the most done? On days when I need to study. I'm just being honest with you. On days when I need to sit down and concentrate and focus, I get a whole lot of other things done. Because what I know about Rodney is that he don't like to be hemmed in and focused and concentrating on one thing. That's what I know about me. One of Satan's greatest tools for my life is distractions, because I am distracted easily. And there's a lot of what'd you say that goes on in my house. You call it ADHD, you call it whatever you want to call it. It is Satan's tools to distract me from being productive and investing the time and the energy into the relationships and the things such as the occupation and other things in my life that are more important than whatever the distraction is. Some of the most joyful distractions, and yet they are distractions. Daddy, 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 daddy. Right in the middle of a conversation between mama and daddy. It's distractions. It's an effort to pull you away so that you cannot be productive in what you were doing. That's what's happening in Nehemiah chapter 6. We want to pull him away so that he's being productive here. They're getting this thing done in record time, by the way, and we got to do something. So let's just distract their leader. Let's go down on the plains of Onan and let's have a conference meeting with him. Let's keep him down there 2 or 3 days. Let's have a business retreat down there. Oh, by the way, it has no purpose or rhyme or reason to it. We just want to pull him away so that all the people will quit working. I don't know what the harm is, but Nehemiah knew that they intended it for harm, and thus he said, I'm doing a great work. I'm telling you this morning, there's some things in your life that you need to say hush to. There's some things in your life that you need to turn off, put down, put away, put under a bushel somewhere, and hide it for a few moments so you can focus on what really matters. And so do I. We need to, with courage, say, what I am doing right now is a great work and I can't leave it, stop it, quit it, pause it for nothing. Because it is a great work and I can't come down there right now. It's hard for us. It's hard for us as a people because we live in a world where so many things are passing and moving and spinning around us. And distractions are on every corner. And here's the first problem with distractions. Far too often they're deceitful. It's a deception. My child comes running in the room with blood gushing from every orifice in their body, and they're hollering, Daddy, 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 we got to do something. You understand? My child walks into the room where their mother and I are talking, and everything appears to be fine on the outside, and they're hollering, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." It ain't going to kill them to set them in the hallway for a few minutes and finish the conversation with Mama. Sometimes distractions are, do you know that they are going to reveal the number 4 team in the college football playoff shortly after noon Eastern time today? That'd be 11 o'clock. Go ahead and look at your watch. It's probably getting close, isn't it? Mine didn't tell me, so you'll have to help me. Probably getting pretty close. What do you think? Do you know that if I don't find that out till in the morning, it won't change it? It won't change it. It ain't going to matter. It's going to be the same person, you understand. But yet there are, and I'm just using that as one example because I'd like to know, you understand. I'm just being real with you. And it's easy for me to get distracted on things like that I put off other things that matter when ultimately it ain't going to change or affect that at all. Far too often distractions are deceptive, and in that we begin to think that we're God. Satan says, "Well, you just be God. It doesn't matter what God wants. It's okay. Yeah, that's important, but you really enjoy doing this too, don't you? Oh, just go ahead this one time. It won't matter. It'll be all right. She'll understand. She'll forgive you. It ain't like it had never happened before. What's it going to matter if it happens one more time? No big deal." Lie after lie after lie after lie. Seeking to do us harm by deceiving us. Come on down here. Let's have a meeting. All the while, all they wanted to do was harm him. They didn't want to meet with him. Satan can make it look so good, so tempting, so important, so right now, so immediate, so pressing, and we just can't wait. And it's all deceiving. It's all a lie. Nehemiah says, "Listen, I got something right now going on more important than that. I can't come down there right now. Tomorrow, check back with me. Next week, check back with me. Right now, I can't come." Oh, they checked back with him all right. Verse 4. They checked back with him 4 times. Satan says, "Oh, it didn't work that time? Let's do it again. Oh, it didn't work that time? Let's do it again. Oh, if I keep doing it." Do you know what the hardest thing for me driving is? The second text message. That's the hardest thing. First one don't bother me. That's just one text message. That's no big deal. I'll get to it in a minute. I'm headed, so I'll get to it. The second one is more difficult. Oh, wait a minute. My phone's gone off twice now. Oh, and then sometimes it goes buzz, 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 buzz to the point that you think you're getting a phone call when really all you're getting is 5 text messages, somebody who's misspelled something 3 times, forgot to tell you something twice, and clearing up once, all in 30 seconds. And so your phone goes buzz, 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 buzz 6 times, and you're thinking, my, what in the world? Somebody must be about to die. That's the hardest for me. See, I know when I get in there, oh, one distraction's not getting me. 2, 3, 4. Well, now, wait a minute. We better see about this. They tried him 4 times. Come on down here. We need to have a meeting. Come on down here. Come on, Nehemiah. You got time. Don't worry about that. They got all that under control. This will be good. This will be great. You need this. You deserve this. You've earned this. You've worked hard for this. You just ought to reward yourself. Come on away for a little while. I don't know what all they throw at him. I know what all Satan throws at me. Try to deceive me, to get me to believe the lie and give in to the distraction. And if it don't work once, he ain't going to stop. It comes in twice, 3 times, 4 times. Then finally, verse 5, they come back to him a 5th time. And they say to him, it is written, it is reported among the nations, and Geshem thinks so as well, that you and the Jews intend to rebel, and that's why you're building the wall. And according to the reports, you're going to become the king, and you've set up prophets to proclaim concerning in Jerusalem, and there's a king in Judah. Now the king will hear these reports and come, let these people counsel together. Then you'll say to him, then I will say to him, no such thing's been done. Sanballat and Geshem and Tobiah sit down and write this letter. And in this letter that they send the 5th time now, come on, Nehemiah. No, I ain't coming. I've got a great work going. I ain't coming. Come on, Nehemiah. I ain't coming. I done told you I wasn't coming. So the 5th time, they send a letter back with the messengers. They said, we know what you're up to. We know what you're doing. You're setting up a kingdom over there. You're going to revolt against those that had you in captivity. You're going to set up a king. You're going to set up... But in other words, those that had you in captivity have let you go back to rebuild your own nation, and you're going to rebel against them, and you're not going to be loyal to that nation. We know what's happening here. Yeah, we've sniffed you out. Threat after threat after threat. Nehemiah says in verse 8, he says, none of this has been done. I don't know what you're talking about. You're making this up in your own minds. You see, the second thing I warn you about distractions is that sometimes they're threatening. You get those 4 or 5 or 6 text messages in a row, and you think, oh my, somebody must be dying. What can you do about it? Maybe they are. And I'm not the person to stand here and say, I like it when people die, you understand? That's not what I'm saying at all. My point is, if there's something in your life that is more important at that point, so be it that somebody's dying. They need to be calling 911, not you. Nothing you can do about it. But yet, there's so many things that are threatening. It's like a voicemail I got a few days ago. I got to talk to you, and I got to talk to you today. Well, okay, maybe you do. Answer your phone when I call you back if it's that important, okay? Twice. I tried to talk to you that day. But now, stop and think about where the other person is, okay? Stop and analyze what might be going on in the life of anyone else. Yet it almost feels threatening to the person that in some way, and I'm not saying that this person meant it that way, I'm just using it as an illustration to say some days are harder than others. And you say, well, it's a cell phone and it's on your hip and it's always with you, and very typically the battery's always charged, and you're exactly right. If it's not, I got a charger in my office, I got one by the coffee pot, and I got one in my cigarette lighter in my truck. I'm pretty handy to a phone charger. Yet there may be, Nehemiah said, I've got a great work going and I cannot come right now. And you and I need to realize that sometimes that's the case. And we can't allow distractions to take us away from whatever it is that is productive and important and that we have set aside that time right then for. Because of something that might be threatening. Satan may be saying, what if there is no God? Huh? What are you going to do then? Uh-oh. What you going to do to find out that there's not a God when you die? Huh? What if there's not a heaven? What if heaven doesn't exist? You've done all of this, wasted all this time, wasted all this energy, wasted all this money for nothing. None of that's real. Threat after threat after threat. that he's throwing to say, oh, it won't matter this time. It won't matter. Just go ahead. It won't matter this time. It won't hurt anything this time. You'll be better off. If you don't do it, you may never get the chance again. Threat after threat after threat. They make these threats to Nehemiah, and he says, his answer is, listen, I can't come right now, okay? I've got a great work going here, and I've got to continue in this great work. All they wanted to do, verse 9, was frighten us, thinking that our hands would drop and it would not be done. Thinking that we would just quit and the work would never be completed, and we couldn't let that happen. We couldn't allow that to happen. Verse 10. And the final caution that I give you about distractions. Now, when I went into the house of Shimei, the son of Deliah, the son of Maheltabah, who was confined to his home, he said, let us meet together in the house of God within the temple. Let us close the doors of the temple, for they are coming to kill you. They are coming by night. This is not a threat. This is real now. We tried to lie to you. Didn't work. Tried to deceive you. Didn't work. So we wrote a letter out and we threatened you. We accused you of all kinds of things and rumors that were not true that we made up in our own minds. And you sniffed us out on that one, and you didn't give in to the threat. Now, we just going to come take you down now. You need to fear for your life, because we're coming to kill you. Jesus said, Matthew 10 and verse 28, don't fear him who can kill only body. Rather fear him who can destroy both body and soul in hellfire. Matthew 10:28. Blessed are you, Matthew 5, verse 10. Blessed are you when you're persecuted for righteousness' sake. Blessed are you, Matthew 5 and verse 11, when you're reviled for my name's sake. Matthew 5 and verse 44, love your enemies. Love your enemies. Do good to those who persecute you and spitefully pray for those who spitefully use you. Don't fear. Love casts out fear. God has not called us to fear, Paul told Timothy. God has called us to power in Christ Jesus. Don't be afraid. Satan says, I'll try this, I'll try this, I'll try this. If that don't work, then ultimately I'm just going to cause you to fear for your life. Nehemiah says, verse 13, for this purpose I was hired. Or for this purpose they were hired, because of Tobiah and Sanballat with Geshem. For this purpose he was hired, that I should be afraid, Nehemiah recounts, and act in this way and sin, so that they could give me a bad name. Nehemiah reflecting on what the other guys, they're just doing this to cause me to sin so they can destroy my name, and I am not going to do. Satan is just doing this so that you'll sin and he can give you a bad name. And you got to decide, I am not doing this. I am not going to allow myself to be distracted, to become distracted, to allow distractions to take me away from the things that help me to be productive in life. How do we do that? Well, it's very simple. We got to keep working. We got to keep working and trust in God. Did you hear what happened there in Nehemiah chapter 6? You know what happens, right? You know what happens when they get the wall built. Verse 15, so the wall was finished. The wall was finished in 52 days. Nehemiah says, we got those gates hung. We got those doors hung, and now the wall is complete. Why? Because we stayed on task. We didn't allow ourselves to be distracted. We kept working. And we kept trusting in God to strengthen our hands and to protect us from the enemies that were out there. Can you and I say this morning that we are just going to keep on working and trusting in God to strengthen our hands and to protect us from the enemies that are out there? Distractions boil down to choice and focus. What have you chosen? Where is your focus? One of the most boring things in the world for me is to stare out a windshield while I'm driving. It's just boring. Go on a trip, hour down the road, Chastity looks over and she says, "You're over it." I said, "Yeah, I'm over it. I'm tired of that windshield." I don't like to focus. I'm not good at focusing. And I'm not real good at making choices. But here's what I know. I know that if we're going to avoid distractions, we have got to make choices and stay focused. In Luke 12, the rich man, I've had a bumper crop, and he loses focus of where it all comes from. And he says, "Let's build some bigger barns." And he loses focus of what really matters in life. And God says, "Fool, this night your soul will be required of you." He needed to focus. He'd let the things of the world and this bumper crop cause him to lose focus. And he got distracted. And he was going to die lost as a result of it. Whose are all these things going to be? In Luke chapter 10, Mary and Martha, when Jesus came to the house, made two different choices. Mary went in and sat down at his feet. Martha washed the dishes, put the dishes up, cleaned the counters, put the food in the refrigerator, wrapped it all, put it in to-go boxes and everything, neat and nicely and arranged and everything. Then she came in there and Jesus said, "Martha, Martha." He made a poor choice. Mary has chosen the better. Martha, you let yourself get distracted. We may have some Marthas in the building this morning, and it may be causing you suffering because you haven't chosen well, because you've lost focus. Encouragement I give you is to trust and obey. Trust and obey, for there's no other way. That's it. Got to trust and keep working in obedience. If we can help you with that this morning, would you come right now as we stand and sing?